Hello guys, welcome to VIP-bet and Odds Analysis Show. Today we are back with value bets, not approaching the subjects that we have been doing on the last few weeks, but you can consult the videos across YouTube or Twitch. So if you have any doubt, just let us know. And today, as you see, it's not only me. João is here also, so we are two guests today. Hi João.
Hi everyone.
So, as you know, I'm much more focused in football, but João has another expertise. Is an expert in tennis. I know that the season is already ending, but you can tell us, João, how was the season? How it's gonna end now? I think it's gonna end in November. So let us know, and also if you have any insight to give us about next season already. Well, let us know how it was the season.
Yeah, we're heading into the final weeks of the season. On the WTA, on the women's side, we only have 1 week left of big tournaments. This week we have the tournaments in Moscow and also in Luxembourg. And next week we have the WTA finals in Singapore. That's the biggest tournament of this Asian swing, the final stage of the season, with the 8 best players in the world. This season, we already know all the 8 players. Usually, we still have to wait for Moscow because everything is usually decided on that tournament. But this season, we were expecting the same with Caroline Garcia and Joanna Konta fighting for the final place. But since Joanna Konta couldn't compete in Russia due to injury, Garcia is automatically qualified for Singapore, and they will play next week on that event. And on the ATP, we still have some weeks left. This week we have 3 tournaments. All of those are ATP 250 events in Moscow, Stockholm, and also in Antwerp. These are very tricky tournaments to approach, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask you. If it is easy to approach those tournaments because it's end of the season, and sometimes it's not very easy to know the motivation of the players to approach them. But yeah.
Yeah, especially on the men's side because they're making the transition from the Asian swing, which was played on the hard court outdoor, now to indoor in Europe. The conditions are different. And even on indoors, if you watch some tournaments, even this week, you can find that the conditions in Stockholm, for example, are much faster than the ones in Moscow. So not only the fact that they're playing on indoor, but also the surface, the type of material that they use for the surface is very important to know because some of those can be extremely slow and others very fast. But looking at some games for this week, can I go with?
Yes.
There's one game that I think that can be an interesting approach, but you have to be very conscious about one thing. The match that I'm mentioning is in Stockholm. Norbert Gombos from Slovakia is going to play against Marcos Bagdatis. Bagdatis is a former top 10, and he reached
that I know well, yeah.
Yeah, he reached the Australian Open final a few years ago, and although he's far from his best, he's still a very dangerous opponent. And he holds great memories from Stockholm. He's a former champion, 2-time semi-finalist, but he struggled with some physical problems a couple of weeks ago in China, in Chengdu. So there are some concerns about his physical condition, but Baghdadis already showed more than once that when he's not feeling fit, he retires. So if you place a bet on Baghdadis, because we think that he's definitely the better player, has a great record here, and also if he's fit, he's by far the better player, as we mentioned, so he should get the win. But if you place a bet on a sportsbook like Bet365 or William Hill that guarantees a void if Baghdadis retires, that's in our opinion the best approach because you get that safety. If Baghdadis is not at 100% and retires, you'll get your money back.
What is the price at the moment in average?
You have at the moment, if you want to compare the risk that you can take by taking a sportsbook that don't guarantee that void, on Pinnacle you have 1.74 and on William Hill that guarantees 1.67.
It looks a good price, huh?
Yeah, that small difference I think that compensates to go with a lower price, but get that safety on the retirement.
Well, one more advice: see the guidelines, see the frequently asked questions and how sportsbooks work because sometimes there is some difference and in tennis especially, in football usually the sportsbooks are usually the same rules, but in tennis, yeah, true.
Especially if you want to make some kind of arbitrage of sure betting, you have to be very cautious because you can bet on a sportsbook that doesn't guarantee a void, other that guarantees, and that's a huge risk for you.
Very good insight. So we already have a value bet and for tennis. Thank you, João. That's perfect to start like that. So about tennis, well, I know that the season is ending. So today, I know that João is his main focus is tennis, but well, it is also very good knowledge in football, and we are going through the Champions League. I think that it's the best way to this first video of the week, and we have amazing games during Tuesday and Wednesday. So let's go through them. I think we can go one by one today. So I don't know why. We have time for that. So you want to start or I choose?
Yeah, you can start if you want.
All right. So let's start with Feyenoord versus Shakhtar Donetsk. A very interesting game. As you say, as you know, like Shakhtar is a very offensive team. The price is not huge at the moment to see a Shakhtar win on the road.
But usually stronger at home, right?
Yes, usually they are. Yeah, usually Shakhtar of Paul Fonseca is, of course, that in Ukraine is always more difficult. Yes, yes, that's it. It's always very difficult for the other European teams to play there. But I think that this Feyenoord, they don't have the experience in Europe as Shakhtar has. So they did a very good game in Man City, and I think that they can do again a very good game on the road, and this time they can win it. Of course, that the money line could be too risky, but draw no bet can be found around. No, draw no bet on Shakhtar.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Feyenoord has been quite vulnerable on defense, right?
Yes, true. It's a Dutch team always like at this level. Usually they have some difficulties, and at the moment 1.61, you can find it around that. It's still a good price. Of course, that it's an odds range that sometimes I try to avoid, but I think that this time I have to say that it's still valuable. I think that it can even drop till the kickoff, so we can call it a value bet 2 here. But more than a value bet, I think that it's a safe bet. This draw no bet option. In terms of goals, they are protected about it. They are expecting goals, so. I think that there is no big value here.
Yeah. Then the fact that although Feyenoord can concede a lot of goals, it might not be easy for them to score, and you have to be dependent on that because Shakhtar to make 3 goals on the road is not so common to see. So you don't want to rely on both teams. Like on tennis, if you bet on the over, you need both players to win a lot of games, and you don't want to rely on that.
That's it. Even believing that Shakhtar can concede a goal. I think that it doesn't worth the risk here. So just stay with the draw no bet here. I think that it's if you want to approach this game, is definitely the best choice. We can go on same groups like Man City versus Napoli. It's a very interesting game. Both teams possible one. If I had to choose a top 5 in Europe at the moment, those two will be on top. Napoli is a team that didn't move too much since last season. They didn't sell anyone. So they are still on the same pace. Very strong team. I love that 4-3-3, especially those trident up in the front. They are really difficult to stop. And on the other side is Man City. They are amazing. They are doing amazing this season, and even possible without Aguero is recovering, but he shouldn't play here. We are not sure if if he will be able to do it. We just saw how they win last weekend at home like 7-2. They are a scoring machine. So versus Napoli, we need to expect an over, of course, but the line. I can tell you the price exactly at the moment.
Over 3.5.
Yes, over 3.5 is now paying. Yeah, it's 1.91. Well, it's tricky. It's tricky to say that it's valuable. The market is already expecting. So for me, it's very hard for me to say that it still has value to back it.
How about waiting for the first minutes of the match, see if the price?
That is always an option. That is always an option. Like wait a couple of
minutes.
Well, I would say 5 to
It's always a good
5-10 minutes. Yes.
See how the match goes.
I always agree with that and try to grab more 10% of value. But of course that we are against the time there. But it's normal, especially on Champions League. It's like almost a fight on UFC or on a boxing fight. The team like trying to adapt to each other. So normally it's difficult to have goals on the first couple of minutes. But I would say that this over, even believing that it could have 4 goals. Well, for me the line to be valuable, I would need a lower line like over 3, because 3 goals, I think that it's definitely the line here. So I'm gonna pass the game, even believing that Man City, they can win the game, but not it won't be easy. So I prefer to skip it, because the price 157, it's for me it doesn't worth it, because Napoli is a very good team. They play very well in transition, and they will have space to do transition playing on the road here, because at Etihad Stadium, Man City usually assume the game, so won't be different versus the Italian team. So for me, it's a skip on this game. Let's go through another one, and there is 2 interesting games on this group: Monaco versus Besiktas. Besiktas already did a surprise this season on Champions League, traveling to Porto, where they won the game. And I have to say that Porto this season is not an easy team to play against. So Besiktas is doing pretty well. And on the opposite side is a Monaco that is much more weak, as everyone sees it. Like the results show it. For example, this week they lost versus Lyon on a 3-2. They lost on last minute, is true, but that show that it's a different team than the last season. Leonardo Jardim doesn't have the same pieces, and without the same talent, it's difficult to do much better. I don't agree here with the price of Monaco. I think that it's going to be a very tough game for them. Besiktas is a team that, even not having huge talents as Falcão, they have a lot of experience with guys with a lot of experience in Europe, and they are really a team. They play very well together, and I think they can surprise. Even, for example, as they did on Porto, they have very good guys shooting from long distance. So I think that they can create problems to this Monaco.
I was thinking about both teams to score. What do you think about their approach?
I like it. I like it too.
Around.
I like it too. Both teams to score 173. I think that is still valuable. But together with that line, I think that we have, since I don't agree here with Monaco price, I think that we have value on Monaco on Besiktas side, and the Asian handicap plus 1.0. You still can find it around 1.8, and it looks pretty nice. It looks pretty nice. I think that even if Monaco managed to win, which I think it's going to be difficult, if they manage to win by more than 1 goal, then I will be really surprised. So I think that it's the line to take here, and also with both teams to score. I agree. Monaco conceded very easily here.
Yeah. And Besiktas is a very tricky team. They know how to score.
Yeah, true. And Turkish teams nowadays they score a lot of goals. I think that we are already on the 9th round in Turkey, and they are still without any draw to nil on their league. It's incredible. On the other game of the group, Leipzig versus Porto. It's a tough game for Porto. Definitely, the German team is very strong. They surprised last year, but they continue to be very strong this year too. Their price, I think it's fair, I have to say. But I think they still have value on goals. Porto is a very offensive team. Of course, that on the road here versus the German, instead of the 4-4-2 that they play on the domestic league, they're going to play again on 4-3-3. Sérgio Conceição going to adapt that for sure. But even playing like that, they can do goals to anyone. So I think it's a game of over 2.5 and both teams to score. Both teams to score can be found around 1.8 if I'm better than that.
Both teams to score.
Yes.
I was checking the Porto double chance.
We have here also the odds comparison, but at the moment I was here reading an article of VIP-bet for Premier League rundown.
Both teams to score. That's the price on the market.
Yeah, 1.8. Well, then that's it. That it's the same.
I was checking Porto's double chance. Think that they can be a tough opponent to beat.
True.
And they're also the most experienced team. Although Leipzig has been doing very well, this is the first time that they play Champions League, and it's never easy. They haven't won a game yet, so it can be tough. And Porto has been playing well lately, and it's not. Although they might not win, But it won't be easy to defeat them also.
Yes, true. And last round we saw Port winning at Monaco by 3-0. So of course that, like, when I say they are offensive, I also say that they are a team that they can win 21. And especially on this group, they lost the first game versus Besiktas, but they really want to bounce back. So I think that, of course, that we can see a double chance. But on the other side, I see goals as always the best option on Porto game, especially on the road. It's true that they didn't concede versus Monaco, but it's tricky, the result. I think that Monaco, they had chances to at least concede, to at least score one or two goals. So I think that, well, Leipzig won't miss so many chances as Monaco. So I won't be surprised with Port winning like 2-1 or something like that. So, but I prefer to be on goals on this one.
Okay.
So we saw this group. Let's go through the last one here. Real Madrid versus Tottenham, and also Spartak versus Sevilla. We can go to the Russian game and like Real Madrid for the end. Like Spartak Moscow versus Sevilla. It's a game, well, where we have the Spanish team as favorites, and I completely agree with that because of the level of Russian teams lately. Russian teams are not so strong. Even CSKA is doing well.
That was so dominant a few years ago, completely lost their momentum.
They are losing. I think that, well, I have to say that Russia is losing money to China. That's it. And they are losing players, they are losing talent, and also managers. So I have to say that I don't like the price of Sevilla, even believing that they can do something there. So
also always the fact that we mentioned already in Shakhtar that
it's the same, yeah. That is the problem of Russia. Yes, that gives some edge to Russian teams. But I think that especially on the second leg, when they arrived there already with snow, etc., that is even more difficult for the.
I'm sure they're not used to snow in Sevilla.
For sure. For sure, that is a sure. That is a sure win. But I don't like the price. 1.8. I can't do nothing here. So unless, like João was saying about Man City game, if we wait a bit, like, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and we can grab an Asian handicap minus 0.25, which protects half of our stake, and we can grab that around 1.7, then it could be some value to see the Spanish team win. At this price, I think that doesn't worth the risk. I won't put my money there.
Incredibly low on the road.
Yeah. Even the goals, I can just recap here the line, but I think that, well, it's fair, and
you're
it's
relying on Spartak to score.
Very, very hard to predict here. So when it's like that, best way is to skip it.
Most of the times, the best bet is not to bet.
True. I like it too. So Real Madrid versus Tottenham, the big game of this Tuesday. Real Madrid price around 1.45. And Tottenham, well, the handicap here expecting is like -1 or -1.5. I can't see any value on Real Madrid. Tottenham is doing very well this season, and even Real Madrid usually being very strong at home, and Cristiano Ronaldo a score machine, especially on big games. Here I'm completely against the sportsbook in everything. I'm against them on Real Madrid to win the game. I can't, at least at this price, of course.
I have considered a lot of draws at home in La Liga.
True, but on the other side, if we see Tottenham, it's true that on Champions League they won a game 3-1 versus Dortmund, and 3-0 versus Apoel. That's it. I think that here we can see an under game. The expectation from bookmakers is over 3.5, and I can see value on this under 3.5. Tottenham is very comfortable in terms of points. They don't have nothing to risk. They already show. If you see the clean sheets that they have on Premier League, is incredible. Like it's very difficult to see them conceding goals. They conceded 1 versus Dortmund. Of course, that it wasn't a game that 3-1, so the under 3.5 would be a loss on that one.
8 games on Premier League, only 5 goals conceded.
That's it. So I can see value on this under. I won't see Tottenham risking too much. Very comfortable with the draw. And even if they are losing, well, I can see them like going like crazies to find the second goal. So under 3.5, and let me see the best price, 185. Well, then that is my bet. It's a valid bet for me. I think
plus 1.25 on the handicap for Tottenham.
I also like it. I also like it. As I told you, I don't agree with this price of Real Madrid. Real Madrid is an amazing team. Well, the best team on the last couple of years. I'm a huge fan of Real Madrid, and the way they play. And also Ronaldo. I have to say that this under 1.85, well, it's normal. It's normal. The market, the public market is always backing overs on their games, so they do the price also based on that. But 185 for me on the under, not see 4 goals on a game of Tottenham. I like it very much. I like it really. For me, it's possible the best bet of all of we spoke till now on the games of Tuesday. So that's it. I don't know if I told you. We already saw I'm going to be on the Tipster leaderboard that will start next November. I hope that you can enjoy it soon. Huh?
Yeah, okay.
You should sign in. I know that you don't have many tennis to tip there till the end of the season, but if you don't win it on the first month till December, then you can win in January.
December we only have the ETF events, but that's far from my expertise. And also you
always run away from those, huh?
Yeah, because most of the times you have to really have the knowledge of the players, and there's a lot of match fixing there, unfortunately, because the prize monies are incredibly low, and the players need to win some money somehow, because until we still need for the tennis federation to review the prize money, because the difference is huge. They can play, and when we have rain delays, they can play almost 4 matches in one day and win like $300, $400. It's insane, and then they need to win somehow, and it's very tricky to bet there, only if you have some inside information.
Yeah, it's true, and it's always very tricky. And usually, most of the fixed games on tennis always come from ETFs, and especially when we are talking about ETFs playing in Russia. Usually, it's very tricky. There is a lot of public news about some pressure, even from mafia, on those players. So it's always very tricky to play those small tournaments. As also the small leagues, of course, that most of the times the biggest value is there, but we can't deny that sometimes it's tricky. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. João, welcome. Thank you for being here. We're going to be together again on Wednesday, and on Wednesday we're going to discuss the other 8 games. It would be too much for just a day. I hope you guys have enjoyed too. If you find any comments that you want to tell us, like, just drop us a comment on YouTube or on Twitch. And we are back on Wednesday. See you guys.
See you.